Welcome, everyone. I am here with the lovely Erin Holland of Ivy and Light, and we're just going to talk a little bit about this past year. It's been transformative for both of us. I can definitely look at that and say without hesitation. And Erin has been blessing me with her coaching services, and we've been doing a swap. So she's been receiving AFT sessions with me pretty much every week. So I just wanted to share some of this because it's been incredibly helpful for me in my own life. And with everything going on now, I hear the stories of people, and it grips my heart so much that I can't not talk about this anymore. And I'm ready to start getting over my own self and sharing this with the world. So I brought Erin on here, and she graciously is blessing us with her presence and open and willing to share a little bit about her experience before and with the AFT sessions and how she utilizes it for her personal life and especially in her business. She is a wealth of information. It's also been a privilege to see her own journey and different things kind of unpack, see the behind the scenes and understand she's a normal person who she may look like she has like everything super, super easy for her, which is that I think that's part of her gifting. She's an amazing teacher, educator, speaker, and you can see her heart coming out. But she is a normal person, just like everyone. We all have our own stuff to unpack and go through. We all hit snags and snares. And I would say that one of the secrets to her success is just her taking time out to do her inner work, to unpack it, to notice when things come up, and be able to come to herself inside and say, I'm just going to take care of me. So welcome, Erin, and thank you so much for taking time out again.
Thank you for having me.
So I just want to ask you real quick, what was life before you started the regular AFT sessions? And what really made you want to dive into that commitment of regular routine AFT sessions?
Yeah, I would say, I forget now, time means nothing when you run your own business and work every day. So I don't remember how many months or over a year, what it's been since we've been doing this, but I purposely wanted to learn about AFT actually for my own community, for my own business, because I have used this crystals and essential oils for years for my own healing. And I have certain practices that I do, including meditation and affirmations and releasing. And I have my own set of stuff that I do. But for educating the community, I wanted to go find the main essential oil healing method that everyone kind of already knew about. And I wanted to understand it so that I could incorporate it into what I offered, so that people weren't having to learn a whole new thing. I could just meet them where they were. I could meet the essential oil community where they were with their own healing method, and then help them add crystals into that. Because this entire past year has been educating on crystals and essential oils, combining them together for boosted benefits. And so I reached out to ask someone if they could help me understand AFT. And as fate would have it, I found Crystal, and we met and we talked about AFT, and I got a session, and it was amazing. And so since then, we have done many, many things together. But what made me go from, okay, I want to learn about this other technique just to add to the things that I know, to then using it weekly and having that set every single week, I'm going to do AFT. The big switch was realizing that it was so helpful to give the healing reins over to somebody else once a week, because every single week I am helping people with their own healing, and I'm doing my own personal healing, but there's so much power in being able to just relax and follow instructions and be totally open to the experience myself, instead of self-guidance or guiding other people. It's just a different, deeper experience. And so for me, already being comfortable with essential oils and comfortable with the process, it was very easy to bring that on board and add that to what I did. But I would say the main shift was finding something that was both for my business and for my personal life, something that really went along with my belief that we grow ourselves to grow our business. So it was huge to be able to have you, Crystal, to guide me through this. And if we needed to talk about personal stuff, we could do that. If we needed to do a session on releasing, emotional things about my childhood or my family or past relationships, if that was getting in the way of my business or just my happiness, we could do that. Or if I was specifically worried about, concerned about, fearful, lacking confidence in something about my business, we could do that too. So kind of the happy, joyful discovery that this method works exactly the way I wanted it to work, which is for everything. And then having it every week, I started to notice, okay, next Monday, I'm going to need to go through this particular thing. And I'm feeling blocked. So I'm going to work on something else until Monday. Then we can release this block. Then I'll go back to working on that thing instead of trying to fight through it. So I would say that's the biggest thing, is knowing I'm doing weekly sessions. I can not try to push through the block. I can just go over here and come back to it after the session. And it makes a big difference. It just helps me to manifest with grace and speed and ease, which is what I'm all about.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, there's so much in there, like you mentioned, the blockers and everything, like what people call writer's block or lack of focus or procrastination, things like that. It all stems from an emotional root. Really, that's what is the consistent factor in my own experience and in any of my other AFT clients. There's always some reason to it. So maybe it does go back, like the reason why you can't move forward in your business planning or, taking that next step, it does maybe stem from childhood stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where too, having that consistency, I can learn more and notice when things are coming up that you may not even realize, and the congruency of everything. So then that starts really revealing, like getting down into those layers and going, okay, this has popped up here, 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 and here. So let's come back to it. Obviously, you're ready for it because it's coming up.
Right.
And, we can deal with it and unpack it together. And to be able to see like the behind the scenes and then go see what you're doing out there, how it's coming to fruition is incredible. Just, like there's always new ideas that you have, not saying you didn't have it before, but to be able to see more of that shift to more of you coming out is incredible. I'm definitely benefiting from it.
Yeah, I definitely think that like one of the main things that I would tell other people who haven't hired someone for healing before would be, I'm a huge believer in the fact that you are your own healer. You choose these things. You are on your journey. You have to be part of the process. But I also believe that there is a time and a place for hiring somebody to help you, right? And that's been a blessing to me to know every week somebody else is going to help me with these things. I don't have to always be in charge of the healing process. Mm-hmm. And also, like you said, when you're working with someone one-on-one consistently, then they can say to you, okay, Erin, seems like this is kind of a repeat of what we did the AFT on before. This is an abundance blocker that's coming back up. So let's go through and work through more of that. Or I can tell that you've made a lot of progress in this area. Let's see if we can go a little bit deeper. So having somebody who is consistently following you on your journey, going alongside you, then they can also be part of the process of tracking your progress and helping you to see the things that you may be missing, or seeing how things are connected, how your emotions are connected to what's going on in your life. So then also, you're not the only one who has to be intentional and purposeful and watchful on your own life. That's what you're hiring somebody else for, to help you consistently through that journey. So that's the huge value of having an expert helping you consistently, I would say.
Absolutely. And for me, being able to do that with you too, to receive your coaching and guidance, that's something I think hard for a lot of people. It was hard for me to admit I need help. It wasn't a pride thing. It was a trust issue. I have to open up and be vulnerable with someone and know that they're going to see some of the dirt in my life. They're going to see my flaws or hang-ups, etc. But handing over that trust, and then especially it seems consistent too with people who have a healing nature. That's one of our giftings, is to be in the healing community, helping people along, encouraging them, inspiring them. It is so hard for us to take time out for ourselves, let alone to ask someone to be a part of that with us, if we're so used to helping others with their healing.
Yeah.
But it's personally such a gift for me to receive that. And, obviously with you as well. So that regular and consistent healing, everyone needs it, no matter who's a top expert in their field or whatever. So going into that, what do you think has been the biggest shift in your life? What has been the biggest change, maybe for you, outwardly in your business, and then personally, like emotionally, because of the regular sessions?
I would say, so one thing that I have been very consciously working on in my personal life this year is reducing stress, or managing stress better.
Mm-hmm.
And, we all went through and are still going through COVID. And for me, that was a big change in my lifestyle, from travel to staying in one spot, staying with people that it wasn't my house that I was staying in. And the stress of all of the energies, right, as an empath, the stress of everything that was going on really affected my stress, which affected physical health. And I'm the kind of person where I will get less energized, less focused, get less accomplished, gain weight, all of these things when I'm stressed. And it's all emotional. It's not physical. So you can't just say, well, I'll diet, I'll eat better, I'll exercise more, I'll drink more coffee and fix it, right? You have to deal with the emotional part. So for me this year, it was about managing stress. And one of the ways you can do that is by working through the situation in the moment. And that's something I have a lot of confidence and training in. But another important part of it is being able to release it afterwards, or prepare for it on the front end, which AFT I think is really good for both, for releasing the negative effects that it had on you, right? The things that you may have absorbed and held on to, negative experiences or just negative emotions or limiting beliefs, letting go of that. But also in doing the boost, that you can project yourself forward past a stressful event and seeing the positive outcome of that. And so for me, both of those things are really important. But as a business owner, I think what was most helpful was projecting past a difficult or stressful event, and being able to plan for how I would feel about it and plan for how it would go, right? So you're manifesting, and I believe that you're manifesting always at an energetic level, but this is a way to have somebody else help me to do that. So a lot of the things I wanted to do in 2021 were giant projects. And I don't love a giant project. I love a do something immediately, once and done, very quickly, intuitive, inspired action, all of that stuff. And so I knew that I needed to be able to maintain momentum, release frustration, and be able to visualize the positive result at the end of projects. And I would say that's a lot of what we've done. And a lot of the projects you're working on with me, so that helps even more, right? But a lot of times if I have a course coming out, or if I have a project and it's taking longer than I want, or if I'm working with multiple people on a project and that's frustrating, being able to work through that weekly has helped me to continue these larger projects without getting frustrated and stopping. So I'm able to get bigger things out into the world to help more people in more amazing ways, because I'm able to maintain my energy by doing the weekly sessions. I think that really has been a huge benefit.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's seriously like every step of the way, everyone goes through it no matter what. And I know I use that for my school exams and all this stuff that's like that I start to feel choked up on, or I will do anything to procrastinate and put it off if it feels uncomfortable for me, and to sit down and do something, or just all those limiting beliefs that come up in the middle of those gigantic things that really, with AFT, with this emotional work, putting down the charge, you can see it really isn't that bad. It's the biggest thing too with AFT sessions is it takes that emotional charge up here. And that's where our brain starts saying, oh, this is too hard. This is too big. This is a mountain. I can't climb it. I'm not qualified, blah, 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 blah. And then it helps to bring it down to this realistic level of what's actually there. And then how you break it apart, and you have that emotional motivation, encouragement to move forward, that drive. And I've definitely, like, again, it's so cool to see the different sides of this and that boost that you get from it. And then poof, all of your stuff comes out and it's amazing. And like, that is so satisfying for me too. I know I experience it, but it's not enough. Same for you. It's not enough for me to just experience it by myself. So seeing it impact you personally in your own life, and then in your business, in your community, and every person, that ripple effect. So you taking 1 hour, 2 hours every week impacts the whole world, really, because a lot of your stuff, your reach is global.
Yeah. I mean, it's what an amazing thing, right? To be able to take care of ourselves and have that impact so many different people.
Absolutely.
It's simultaneously a blessing and also a really important lesson for everybody to learn, that we have to care for ourselves. And if we don't care for ourselves, we're not doing our best. And if we're not doing our best, we're not helping in the way that we were really meant to help. So and you're right, it's an hour a week, right? So we have an hour a week. Everybody has an hour a week. We may not have a ton of time, but we have an hour a week to let go of stuff, reframe, project forward, and have the right energy as we work towards our big goals and dreams. Absolutely.
Yes. And that taking that 1 hour, you're making the biggest investment you can possibly make in yourself, your business, your personal, your household, etc. So that's what I like, because I don't want to spend time doing all of these things. So to be able to do it in one thing, which is also what you teach so much of, that Venn diagram thing, making as much impact as you possibly can with one investment or a few of them. So what would you say to someone who's kind of hesitant, has never maybe taken that time out for themselves, and feels that inner hesitation of commitment and trust and just submitting to someone else to help unpack their life for a little bit?
Well, there's several things. I guess one thing I haven't mentioned that I think is really important is a life lesson that I learned when going through a really difficult time in my life, was that pretending everything is fine when it's not fine is not good for yourself or anybody else. It's so much better to be transparent, whether that means sharing your joy fully and not being afraid to do that, but also sharing that not everything about your life is perfect. We don't get bonus points for pretending things are perfect, but we are trained to think that. And so And from that pivot point in my life, I realized it's not good for me or other people, but it's not good for my health to act as if I am doing better than I am. And that letting go of that made it so much easier for me to be just genuine with anyone. For the person that I am behind the scenes to be the person that I am on camera, the person that, gives free advice is the same person that does coaching. There's no difference, because what do I gain from putting on a persona? Mm-hmm. At the same time, because I'm not putting on a persona, I can, there's not really a guard to let down when I'm having someone help me with an issue I'm having, because I identify as a person that has issues, right? Because we all do. So I would just encourage people that being able to have somebody else help them is the most freeing feeling. Mm-hmm. To be able to say, I need help, and that's good. That makes me human. That makes me on a healing and a growing journey. So that's one thing about bringing somebody else in. That's a really, really healthy decision to make. Secondly, two heads are always better than one. Mm-hmm. So getting an outside perspective, getting somebody who can hold space for you, and while you're going through this, super, super important and worth every penny and every second of time. And then the more, the benefits are exponential. As you heal, you're able to do more with your time. Mm-hmm. And so it's not just getting by. It's not the kind of thing, there are some therapies that I struggle to really understand why people do them, because I feel like their goal is to help people get by. Yeah. AFT is really to help people get to core issues, release core issues, and do better, to the point where you don't need as many sessions. Any healing method that is worth the time, money, and energy is one where you either have the same number of sessions and the growth is like this, mm-hmm. or if you just need to be like this, you're doing fewer and fewer and fewer sessions because it's working. Yes. AFT 100% fits into that category. So that would be my main reasons that somebody should try it. The other thing, if you're a person like me who needs to understand how things work, then AFT is a great natural healing method, because there is a physical, biological, scientific explanation that goes along with how the essential oils work, how our brain works, how we store memories. And so if you need to understand it in order to trust it, then AFT is a good one to put some faith in, right? To step out and say, okay, I will try this. I'll learn about this, because there is the science behind it. And that's really important to me. That's why, to bridge over to one of the things I really think is important, that's why I had you create the Intro to AFT course, mm-hmm. for the IVN Light website, because there is science and that can be explained and people can understand it. And then those of us who are cynics can dive into this natural healing method without just having to, take your word for it, that it'll help. So that is really important to me too, that there needs to be some sort of an explanation available, so that then people can understand how to use it for themselves. They can understand what you're doing when they're trusting, putting their hands, putting themselves into your hands, and so they can help other people with it as well.
Exactly. I'm so glad you mentioned all of that. And it really is and has to be about empowerment too. It's not just come here and feel good. To me, that's like a massage. It's great, mm-hmm. but as soon as I get in the car and drive home, the benefits of that are kind of gone. And that's not, I love it, but that's not sustainable. And it's not necessarily empowering, because I can't necessarily give myself a massage. So beyond that, like, to be able to receive the benefits of AFT for yourself, and then use it on your family and your household, and then spread outward. Like, if someone around you is having a hard time, like I was in youth group ministry, And being able to kind of use some of these techniques with teens who were going through things was incredible. Being able to use that course where I get to unpack all the geeky science stuff that I love so much, but most people aren't there. It's having one place for that. And showing people like, yes, this has incredible merit. Here's what happens. Not only you feel it, but this is what's going on inside of you. Like that was an incredible opportunity. And I do not think I ever would have made that without your prompting and encouragement. So thank you for that. But that would also be another huge thing. Like if someone isn't quite comfortable with one-on-one sessions, I think that is the next option that would be very realistic and a lot of bang for their buck to get in there and glean it, especially if they're very busy. They can take piece by piece and then begin to implement it themselves. The whole concept of the Intro to AFT course is built around getting the solid education, the solid foundation, and all the tools. So then that person who takes it can go out, share with their household, or anyone in different situations that may come up. So it's all about empowerment as well.
Yeah.
And that's why I love working with you too, because those are our core values. It's not good enough for us to just create lifelong patience.
Right.
We want to see people doing this themselves, and we want to work ourselves out of a business, basically. Work ourselves out of clients. Like if we have the same clients in the same place in 10, 20 years, we will both feel like we aren't doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So,
I want to feel pushed to grow really fast to stay ahead of my clients.
yeah.
That's my goal. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. So they only stay with you because you're doing something new, not because they're still dependent on you. It's all about creating independence.
Yes.
So we have a lot of resources too, and we will share for anyone who's interested about the Intro to AFT course. And I would just encourage everyone who may hear this and go, I think I need this, but I'm scared or unsure, uncertain, what's it going to cost, etc. I will work with people on a budget, especially with people getting laid off and inflation and all those things. It's about empowerment and making the best investment possible. So that's a guaranteed value, but anyone can reach out and go to the links we'll provide. And other than that, Erin, do you have any other final thoughts to share?
I don't think so, except that as we are recording this, it's December. And so part of the reason, after an entire year of AFT and crystals and oils, and really realizing the full benefit that we've received by working on all of these things this year, we want people to be able to start January off for an amazing year. And this is one of the things that you can do. Dive into AFT, take either the baby step of setting up your first one-on-one, or take the baby step of getting the AFT course and then learning yourself that science with step at a time, like you said, piece by piece. Get yourself equipped as we enter a new year. And then if you're watching this in a replay and it's the middle of the year, there's no time like the present, right? But really that's why we wanted to talk about it, because after an entire year of working on this, and you look back at your year, you see what a huge impact it's made. And that's why we want to make sure that everybody else has the opportunity to get on board.
Absolutely. And I would also throw in there too that with whatever comes up, to be able to have this, and no matter what the news reports say, no matter what that triggers in someone, that no matter what you're feeling, fear, anxiety, stress, etc., to be able to be equipped, already have it, lifetime access to it, or that you have a person willing to help you through it, a resource, you already have that. For me, when I was going through deep anxiety, stress relief, this was one of the things that helped me so much. Was when I started getting gripped by fear, anxiety, etc., I needed something foundational to grab onto. And a lot of what I tried in the past was not good stuff. Only made it worse. This will actually help you in those times. And you can go, okay, well, I'm going to grab my oils and I'm going to do this. And I'm going to take time out and I'm going to breathe and I'm going to get centered and balanced and grounded. And then I can move forward. So it's to be able to already have that or have access to it is incredible. And learning those tools and tricks. So no matter what happens, no matter when, 3 o'clock in the morning, on the road traveling, when life happens, you already have something because it's your knowledge. You've already learned this stuff. I mean,
prepared beforehand for whatever comes. Absolutely.
yes. How
Absolutely.
empowering is that? So thank you so much, Erin, for joining us. And thank you to everyone watching. And if you have any other questions, comments, etc., just even if you want to talk to Erin about anything of hers, make sure to look at the comment in the description, leave a comment, and that's all for now. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys. And absolutely, if you have questions about AFT or anything else, feel free to comment or send me an email. I'm happy to share more about my personal experience if you want to hear more about that too.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.